boy. Welcome into the That's Good Sports podcast. Go ahead and thank yourself right now for making a smart choice. This is a pretty good podcast, and you're not a fucking idiot because you decided to listen to this podcast hosted by William Keys, the first of his generation's 2019. Also just known as Will. I am Brandon Perna. We talk about football here. Got a lot to sort of dive into today. Myles Garrett got punched in the face by a fan. Brock Osweiler retired. The Rams / Chargers. I mean, we'll just call it the Rams Stadium. It'll never really be the Chargers Stadium. Is only $2.5 billion over budget, and the NFL wants players to maybe pay for it. And then we will discuss all the upcoming games this weekend. And our Denver Broncos play Thursday Night Football tonight. So you might be lucky enough to listen to this podcast before that game. Probably not. So whatever we say about that game, just ignore unless we are 100% accurate.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a man or woman of culture, you will have listened to this podcast before the game. Assuming Brandon gets it up in time. Right.
And if the game has already started, you will just pause it and then listen to this podcast and then listen to the game to not spoil this podcast. You don't want to do that.
Or if you're one of those people, which there are many of these people, who don't care to listen to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, you could turn on the sound and replace it with our voices. And
yeah, I mean, you're not going to get what's happening in the game per se.
No. But how much do they really tell you, though? They're just hired to say that Philip Lindsay's from Colorado and he still lives with his parents, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And also ruin another pair of slacks over some regular Patrick Mahomes left-handed throw.
Aikman won't do that because I think Aikman doesn't want to see other quarterbacks play better than him. So
understandable. I wouldn't either.
Yeah, that's how I would be.
Yeah.
I like Aikman more and more as he gets older and a little more blunt. He's done taking bullshit. I don't think he cares if anything ever happens to him in terms of his job. And so he kind of just says it like it is, you know?
He's got tenure over at Fox. That's why he calls out. He hates Skip Bayless because Skip Bayless famously accused Troy Aikman of being gay back in the 90s.
Oh, that's right.
I can't think of a less gay appearing man than Troy Aikman. We'll consult Larry Johnson.
Well, maybe that's Skip's biggest argument. He's so manly. He's got to be gay.
Maybe. And he also called out his colleague Doug Gottlieb.
Yeah, old Dougie
when
boy.
He said that he made some point about Andrew Luck retiring and how millennials are big pussies, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really care.
Those millennials retiring with $100 million, such fucking idiots.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Replace him with Tony Romo? Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe. They're smart. They throw him a lot of money.
I think the good news, though, is we don't have Chris Collinsworth doing Thursday Night Football. As a Broncos – and I like Chris Collinsworth. We've kind of talked about this before. But
yeah, I do too.
He gets way overly excited about Pat Mahomes. And if the Chiefs are playing well, I don't think I could bear it tonight.
I don't think there was anything worse than the Monday Night Football game last year when they kept calling him Showtime Mahomes. It turns out he's like 2-6 in primetime games.
Oh, is he? That's a good stat.
Yeah, something like that. So kind of an ironic nickname now.
Should start calling him Kirk Cousins, you know?
Like calling a big guy tiny or something.
Yeah.
Or a fat guy skinny.
I did want to talk about the officiating, Will, because Monday Night Football kind of got the game got sideshowed by the refs, and the Lions, however you want to look at it, were affected by the refs in that game. people want to say, you got to play better football and you got to score touchdowns, not field goals. But let's just they got fucked by the refs. Trey Flowers called for 2 hands to the face calls that weren't really hands to the face. The officiating's been a problem all year long for multiple reasons. The pass interference call reviews are never overturned when refs are wrong. Penalties are up by like 2 or 3 penalties per game. It's just a lot of shit. And I wanted to know if you had any solutions, be it a real solution or a fake solution. I don't give a shit at this point.
Okay. Real solution, make the refs full time, possibly add a referee, and a little eye in the sky work like the AAF used.
The Sky Judge had the AAF.
Sky Judge, that's right.
Yeah, Sky Judge and
we
AAF.
need Big Brother, who is, because when you think about it, we talk about, well, this is hard for referees to call because it's, a split-second decision. They don't have as good of a view as us. Well, maybe they should have as good of a view as us. Maybe that's a problem if we can see these things better than they can. It feels redundant to have a super old man, probably who can't see very well, calling things like hands to the face when Trey Flowers is clearly at the shoulder pads. Whether or not David Bakhtiari was cocking his head back to make it look like that, if he did, I applaud him. That's
savvy.
Quite the hustle. But the fact that he could have fooled a referee who's paid to look at these things, I don't like it. It's concerning, and we need to turn to technology.
Yeah, I think like the big issue there is what you're saying is there should be like a ref in the booth at the game who has the view of all the angles we get to see and can right into the official's ear on the field say, hey, that wasn't a penalty. And if it's too late, be like, hey, that Trey Flowers hands to the face looked clean. Just, don't call that again. Or if you call that again, make sure it definitely – like I think that would be helpful to a referee on the field because I get that shit happens pretty quick. But I feel like you can correct things pretty quickly without the fans or anybody knowing if there's a guy there in his ear just making corrections as the game goes along. Like that was pass interference or there is holding happening here or that's not a hold. Those sort of things to give like the refs notes so they know in game whether they're doing something right or wrong because they don't really have that feedback. They just have to go home and realize the world hates them.
Exactly. I think another thing that would be important is to make penalties a little less punitive. So you got the 10-yard penalties on holding, which pretty much kill a drive. Yeah. They're like a sack, essentially. Probably, a few yards longer than the average sack, although you don't get the loss of down. I would make most penalties 5 yards. I would
That's smart.
Make most pass interferences 15 yards, unless it's like blatant and you're clearly just trying to tackle the guy to, prevent a touchdown, something like that. I think you can put that up to review because that doesn't happen too often. Usually it's incidental. And then maybe instead of with something like a hands to the face call, instead of an automatic first down, say it happened on third down, just replay the down and give them 5 yards.
Yeah. I mean, that makes way more sense. And that play, one of those Trey Flowers was on 3rd and 10 where Rodgers got sacked. So worst case scenario there, if that rule
you get
were to be applied, it would be 3rd and 5 still or whatever, which at least gives the Lions another chance instead of an automatic first down. And that's the same with defensive holding, right? The fact that that's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down,
right? Because like
stupid.
The worst
that's been like the worst rule for years, though.
Yeah, going back to the first game of the 2016 season when the Broncos played the Panthers, there was this play on the last drive where Carolina was trying to get back into field goal position. It was something like 3rd and 20, maybe it was 4th down even, and they didn't get it, but Chris Harris got called for a ticky-tacky holding penalty. They gave them 5 yards in the first down. Just give them 5 yards and replay the down.
Yeah, 3rd and 15.
It's not that hard.
No,
then people won't freak out about these penalties because they're not affecting the game like they are now.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's what this really boils down to is
too much power over the outcome of the game.
Nobody wants to see the officials affecting the game. Like it just seems like, I don't know if it's actually getting worse or that there is so much instant visual evidence and social media opinions to support if you're feeling shitty about a call. So like if your team gets fucked by the refs, you can jump right on Twitter and see that 1 million people agree with you.
Right.
Like when this happened to the Lions and Packers, I saw a ton of Packers fans being like, I'm going to take the win, but I didn't want to win like that. Or, hey, I'll say the Lions got screwed, but, we're going to take the win. It's right. It's just it's kind of therapeutic. It helps you not feel alone as opposed if you were just at your home starting to fume in anger over a call. But basically, the NFL needs to hire Will and I as brand ambassadors and how to connect to fans and pay us a lot of money, and we'll fix the game of football. Yeah,
add this to the list of jobs that we should have but do not currently have.
Yep.
Barstool, NFL Network, etc.
I've put my name in the hat several times for NFL fan commissioner, which in my head is a real job. I don't know, $3 million a year salary, not a lot compared to Goodell.
Right, a fraction of the cost.
And so, of course, I would bring you with me, Will, and
get you as deputy commissioner.
Probably $1 million a year to start, and we'll go from there.
So what would you do about this Myles Garrett situation as commissioner?
I don't know. This is a weird story. I saw him tweet about it yesterday, and then I followed up with it today. But Myles Garrett got punched in the face by a fan. So a fan got out of his car to take a picture with Garrett and then punched him in the face. Myles
does, yeah.
Yeah. Myles tweeted about it to his 171,000 Twitter followers. And then this asshole was captured by the police in the greatest Cleveland manhunt since The Fugitive, if that happened in Cleveland. I can't remember. In less than 4 hours, Will. They caught him in less than 4 hours. Okay, Chicago, Cleveland, they're close. Garrett got the guy's license plate number, which obviously helped with the manhunt. Right. But my question is, how does Myles Garrett only have 171,000 Twitter followers?
That's a good question. I don't think he's
not
that popular of a player. Like for a first overall pick, we don't think about it very much. Do you have wind chimes?
That's my Ring doorbell.
Oh, damn it!
But it's probably just the scary lady we have hanging from our door for Halloween.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, Garrett was a number 1 overall draft pick, right? Is that what you just said?
He was, yeah. It was him and then Trubisky.
Yeah, well, I looked at Baker too, and Baker only has 682,000 followers. I feel like Baker should definitely be over 1 million.
Right, because you keep waiting for him to say something stupid.
Yeah, or funny.
Yeah, maybe both.
Maybe it just depends on how you look at it.
Maybe both, yeah. It's a matter of perception.
I just think Cleveland Browns fans might not like social media.
They might not have the internet in Cleveland. If you're listening in Cleveland and you're listening over the internet, which I'm assuming you are, this doesn't play on the radio typically. Leave us a comment if there is internet in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, man. You really know how to piss off an entire city, Will.
Or if the wind from the lake knocks down all internet waves. I'm not sure how the internet works, to be completely honest.
I put radio on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what show that's from?
No.
Silicon Valley.
I was going to guess that.
I've been rewatching it, so it's in my head. I put radio on the internet. Get into that 3 comma club. That's a B. It's a billion.
Well, you're about to be in the 2 comma club.
Yeah. Speaking of B's, check out this segue. Brock Osweiler, Brock B, retires. He retired yesterday, Will. Did you see ESPN posted Ryan Tannehill's picture for their announcement of Brock Osweiler? I don't know how the fuck that happens.
Because they think all white people look at this.
Oh, yeah. It's a race. They're racist at ESPN against white people.
Oh, so all Miami Dolphins quarterbacks look the same? Is that it?
No, they all just play the same, damn it.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite Brock wordplay? Because that's probably what he'll be remembered for most.
Yeah, there are a ton of them, especially 2015. It was just an abundance of Brock puns. But mine is one that I actually came up with, I think, unless someone thought of it first. Mine is Broncos Modern Life.
Yeah, that's good.
And then I have a couple of favorite memories of Brock. The first one is a good memory. Well, I guess they're both good memories. Maybe not for Brock, though. First, of course, is beating the Patriots.
Right.
Throwing that late touchdown to Andre Caldwell and then checking out to the toss to C.J. Anderson was a great play by him. And then the next year, him coming to Denver and throwing that empty-handed pass that turned out to be a fumble. Both just incredible moments.
Yeah, I always forget he came back as a Texan and he lost, right?
Yeah, he was terrible that day.
Wasn't that game closer than it should be though? Or did the Broncos blow him out?
It was one of those the best job an offense could do for the 2016 Broncos was just possess the ball for a while and score 23. While the defense gave up 10 or something. That was as good as we could do in that era.
I'm trying to find the box score. Oh, yeah, I think I was at that game. I think I was no, not this one. Damn it. I don't remember, but I think I was up in the press box, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's probably why it's hard for me to remember. That's when I was helping Vic Lombardi. So I was shooting shit for him down on the field before the game. And then I had to act like a professional, thinking I would be going back there often. And that was the only time. Whatever.
What are you going to do?
One of my favorite Brocks is the Broctopus.
The Broctopussy.
Octopus have 8 arms. Broctopus is 8 feet tall, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. There are so many words you can replace Brocktober. Rock with.
Yeah, really. That's the idea.
Octorocked. I forgot. I saw this on Twitter, but the Broncos put Brock Osweiler in on special teams to try and block a field goal. That's one of those things that comes back to you. That was a shitty game, though. That was the Patriots. Patriots came back to beat the Broncos when Peyton Manning was their quarterback.
Yeah, that game was fucked.
And the Broncos had a big lead, I believe, at halftime, and then
I think it was 24-0. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like what the Broncos did to the Chargers that same season. Anyway, Brock started 30 total games, and he earned $41.4 million, retiring at age 28, and basically I think he gamed the NFL about as beautifully as you can.
Yeah, so he earned about $1.25 million per start. which has to be
That's a lot.
close to a record. I'm sure him and Chase Daniel are probably up there.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be since there's a lot of math here that we're not going to do. I'd be curious to see like quarterbacks who now have like 100+ million contracts on 4 or 5 year deals. That's got to be like over $1 million a start. Like Russell Wilson's, he was at like 140 million, and it's 4 or 5 more years. That's pretty close to the same
maybe
thing.
Well, you have to count postseason too, because those teams or those quarterbacks usually win a couple playoff games.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Anyway, we just wanted to pay our respects to Brock Osweiler because as Broncos fans, we really did get the best of Brock.
We did. Yeah, although I do hate when people use signing or like the fact that Elway was going to sign Brock Osweiler to a contract as like a
argument against Elway.
First of all, every fucking GM wanted him.
Yeah.
After that season.
He
Elway set like a price that he wasn't going to go over, clearly, because I'm sure Brock would have forgotten about the whole benching thing had Denver offered the right price. He didn't. Houston was dumb enough to go over whatever Elway set. Sight unseen. People forget that Bill O'Brien never even met Brock Osweiler.
Probably why Houston doesn't have a GM right now.
Might have something to do with it. That might help. Yeah.
No, I think that's a really good point. And I think Broncos fans have a pretty positive memory of Osweiler because he came in during that Super Bowl season and won the Broncos some really important games.
Oh, yeah.
He did exactly what you need a backup quarterback to do. Obviously, we were hoping he would be the guy to replace Peyton Manning, but he's going to get kind of unfairly shit on by everyone else. But Broncos fans
Trevor Siemian, a better player.
What's that?
I said turned out it was Trevor Siemian, a better player.
Right.
Yeah.
So like
still has a winning record.
I think a lot of people look at Osweiler's career as a joke. I'm just saying, like, he was very important to us here in Denver. So it's kind of like it's a weird career for sure. But I wanted to make sure he knew we respect him.
And let's remember his tattoo that I don't think he got fixed until he made it to the NFL. The live life to it is fullest tattoo on his arm. It was it with an apostrophe and an S instead of just ITS. Nice.
Yeah, that's a mistake I make a lot. To me, the word
you think you double check it before you had it
fair enough.
Onto your body. Fair
enough. To me, the word it's always has an apostrophe, no matter how it's used.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
Ooh. Yeah, Will knows too much about my writing.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair, Will, my speed is unmatched.
Oh, that is true. That you're definitely faster than I am.
You go for quality. I go for I have to write a video every single day.
It really doesn't matter considering you're just reading it off of the page. But, I can't. My OCD brain takes over and has
that's
to
fine.
Everything.
I need you to correct it.
Once they release the transcripts and they put it in the National Archives, you will thank me.
Yes, I will. Yeah, you do have access to all my scripts.
I do, and I will sell them.
Yeah, if I ever get a real show and people are like, oh, that guy is famous and his stuff's worth money, just start selling off old scripts.
Well, and what I'm going to do is –
you're going to have to do it out of spite because once I go to the top –
yeah. You'll have
guess who I'm getting rid of? You.
No. I'm also going to take the jokes that were too offensive for air and then tweet them out and have you canceled.
Yeah, but those are all your jokes.
That's a good point, but it's your video. Who's going to know the difference?
That's true. That is so true.
Yep.
There's no handwriting to
there's
differentiate.
No analysis.
No,
this isn't Zodiac.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I would say we use 99.9% of everything that gets written.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's very rarely like you put something in and then like I go, better not say that.
Yeah, happens once every couple weeks maybe.
And usually, I think the thing we're always removing is some sort of jab at Tyreek Hill.
Usually, yeah, jab at Tyreek Hill or a joke about Shaquem Griffin.
Oh yeah, I have to reel you in on those.
Yeah, reel me in. See, I'm doing it with one hand.
Wow, wow.
Cutting that out.
I'm not going to remember. That's the thing.
That's the thing, yeah, because you got to get this up before the game. Okay. Next item of business is the goddamn Chargers and the Rams decided to build a stadium despite not having enough fans to fill it. And here's the thing. They only went just a tiny little insignificant $2.5 billion over budget.
Yeah.
Which, as we know, California does not have any budget problems. No fiduciary issues of any kind. All of their schools are properly kept.
Overfunded.
They're overfunded, as you would know. All the roads are good. No poverty to speak of. There's not 50 kids per class. But yeah, occasionally we'll go $2.5 billion over budget on a stadium, and you can't have that. But the league wants players to pay the difference. Basically, they want Mexico to pay for the wall.
Can Mexico pay for this stadium too?
I mean, we're it's probably close enough.
I think Trump could win California if they convinced him to convince Mexico to pay for this stadium.
Yes.
It's a win-win.
Right. Because California, as you know, has been tackling the big issues that affect the state, like college players being able to make money off of endorsements.
Oh, right,
and then, we'll get to balancing the budget later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if I can't even fathom a situation in life where I quoted somebody something to do a job and it was double of what I quoted them, and then compound that by $2.5 billion.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
That is such I don't know how you fuck up that bad.
Did they accidentally put like a pool in there? I mean, not that would cost that much. I'm just thinking, like, how nice is the stadium? First of all, it's bullshit that it's a dome. I know why they do it. So it's for, multi-purpose, whatever. So you can have concerts in there and this, that, and the other. But LA is maybe, the most temperate climate on earth.
Yeah, you're always going to have 70 degrees.
Yeah, so pretty much anything you can do without a roof. And sure enough, they put a roof on another stadium in the NFL. I hate domes. I've gone on record as saying dome stadiums are ugly. I don't want to watch them on TV. They ruin football for me, and I hate them. But, maybe it gives them a better chance of hosting the Super Bowl, whatever.
Well, yeah, they're going to host a Super Bowl, and they already pushed that back a year because the stadium's not on time. Right. In addition to being over budget.
I think that probably has something to do with it.
Probably. And I think Dan Patrick broke this news, and I was reading about like how the league wants players to pay, and I couldn't follow the logic. So they're saying like the league wants players to offset the cost by giving players 49% of the revenue. That would go to the players, but then 2% of that revenue, about $300 million, to help pay for the stadium. So 47% of the revenue. Like I couldn't understand how it worked. There wasn't like a lot of info there.
There's not a chance in hell this is going to happen.
Right. My thought, like they're trying to put this in the collective bargaining agreement along with the 17-game season, which they believe will happen now. And supposedly, like, the old school owners who have been around forever don't want a 17-game season. The newer guys and the Jerry Jones crusade, they do want the 17-game season. My thought was, if every NFL owner is a billionaire, except for Mark Davis, who is a 500 millionaire, and Mike Brown, they're the only two who aren't. Why can't they chip in to pay for the stadium, and then they take that percent to go back to it? And then, I mean, they would all eventually make their money back, and they can afford it. It's their fucking league, which they like to always, tout when it's convenient to them. And I did the math here. Oh, yeah, if you exclude the Broncos too, because they don't have an owner, and 29 owners could basically pay $86 million to cover the costs for this stadium, and then they could all make money on it later, instead of trying to figure out another way to get players involved with something that I don't think they need to be involved with.
Yeah, to be honest, all this hurts my head to think about. I think we should just make Dan Snyder pay for all of it. Leave the other owners out of it. I think they should all have a vote, and obviously, if they hold a vote, it's going to be Dan Snyder who pays for everything.
They vote for one owner to pay it off.
Hopefully, to the point of bankruptcy, which would make him have to sell the team, which would put the Redskins in more capable hands. Maybe save that franchise as a whole.
Well, Dan Snyder's only worth $2.6 billion, so
yeah,
this would take him way down.
He'd still have $0.1 billion left after he covers the stadium.
Jerry Jones worth $8.4 billion. Robert Kraft $6.9 billion.
God damn.
Let's see. How much is Stan Kroenke is $9.7 billion. So you're telling this is Stan Kroenke's stadium, and with a $9.7 billion net worth, he can't figure out how to fucking pay for the rest of it? Seems, I don't know. It seems so asinine that
you don't get to being a billionaire.
No, they get to be a billionaire by getting other people to pay for all of their business endeavors.
Yeah.
I know. I'm too stupid to figure that one out.
Or you're just a better person, but
yeah, or you marry.
I don't want to say about, people blame the owners for everything. Like, every owner's bad. That's just not true. Plenty of owners are bad people. Dan Snyder, like I mentioned, Robert Kraft, sex crimes, etc. Everyone who owns the Packers is a bad person.
Whoa.
I'm just going to say
the numbers for this podcast are falling off in Cleveland and Green Bay today, Will.
Well, so be it.
So be it. We should do an episode on the top 5 kindest NFL billionaires.
Yeah. And Pat Bowlen would have been at the top of the list.
Would have been there. I know they're like, you're right, but I think they can cover the cost.
Oh, I'm sure they can.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
we got actual football to talk about. Yeah.
Let's get into all these games. We've got Broncos, Chiefs, Thursday Night Football. Big game now because Broncos 2-game win streak, KC 2-game losing streak.
Right.
Broncos defense looks legit. Patrick Mahomes a little banged up.
Broncos defense looks legit. Patrick Mahomes looks like shit.
Ooh.
How about that?
Man, save it for bad poetry.
Okay. Actually, that's good poetry.
Yeah, we are wait, who in our text, who did I say we were like?
Shel Silverstein.
And Robert Frost, yeah.
And Robert Frost, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those are the only 2 poets I know because I had to do a report on Robert Frost in high school.
Yeah, William Carlos Williams.
Will.
I always thought that was a phony name.
William Carlos Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got like a last name that can kind of work as a first name and you name your kid as that, it's an interesting choice.
Like Rams safety John Johnson, who was just put on IR.
Yeah.
Right. We'll get to that later.
Who you taking, Broncos Chiefs? Because Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites, but they got a lot I'm heading into this game.
I mean, we've picked the Broncos every game this season. Why stop now? I'm taking the Broncos. Sure. I'm not going to really be able to watch too much of this game, which I think makes it worse. I'd rather just not watch it all or watch all of it without, with undivided attention. I will certainly DVR it and watch it after, unless they lose.
Right.
In which case, it will have never happened.
That is the hardest thing to do, is watching a DVR'd game that is just ends in a loss.
Yeah, that just probably won't happen. I'll just forget about it. But yeah, if they win, it'll probably stay on my DVR for decades. And I'll play it whenever I get sad and or lonely.
Yeah, I mean, the Broncos haven't beaten the Chiefs in 7 meetings.
They haven't beaten the Chiefs since I was a sophomore in college.
Fudge. That is a long time.
That's a long time.
It feels different, though.
It does. It comes down to, It comes down to, we know the defense is going to play at a certain level. We know the Chiefs' offense is banged up. You have to assume it's a wash there, that the Chiefs are going to score somewhere in the 20, probably. Yeah. And that's really all you can ask for out of this defense against this offense. So I think the X factor is Joe Flacco, because you can run the ball against this defense. And I hope they do more than they throw the ball, especially if it's working early.
Yeah, Chiefs are not good against the run.
Right, which Carlos Hyde diced them up.
Marlon Mack.
Both diced them up. They're not elite running backs by any means. And Marlon Mack's pretty good. But you got to give the ball to Royce Freeman and Phillip Lindsay early and often, like they did in the Monday night game last season, which they should have won. But it's going to come down to Joe Flacco, no mistakes, no turnovers, ideally. Push the ball a little bit, work in Emmanuel Sanders, take advantage of the depleted corner group for Kansas City, because, Denver is also down a couple corners. Rashad Breeland might not play. I don't think Kendall Fuller's playing.
No, he's out.
So take advantage of that.
The Chiefs could be with just 3 corners, period.
Yeah.
So
yeah, not great. So spread them out a little bit. You don't have Chris Jones getting that pass rush.
The Broncos have a better chance than any team that's played the Chiefs so far to score a good amount of points.
Yeah.
But the Broncos have struggled all season long to score a good amount of points. So we've seen them get into the 20s, once or twice this year, the Broncos. They're probably going to have to do that. Maybe they can get a defensive or special teams touchdown. That would go a very long way. But, yeah, you're right. It comes down to whether or not the Broncos can finish drives with touchdowns, I think.
Right, and let's point this out, too. This is the worst defense the Broncos will play all season, most likely.
Yeah, and 1, because the Chiefs' defense isn't great, but 2, because they are getting them without Chris Jones as well. Like, the Chiefs are missing key pieces to that defense, and they're missing, their starting left side of the offensive line, banged up. Could be a big game for your classmate,
Malik
who
Reed,
you were probably in school with the last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs. And
I actually was, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll both take the Broncos there, and I'm excited for tonight.
I am too.
Then we got Raiders.
Actually, I'm nervous about it.
Yeah, good. Raiders at Packers. Packers 6.5-point favorites. Raiders are coming off. They were on a bye week, right? So
they were.
Here's what's interesting. Raiders don't have Antonio Brown. They lost Vontaze Burfict for the season. 2 of their offseason free agent / trade moves. Now Trent Brown is being sued by his ex-girlfriend for domestic violence claims. He denies those claims, says he has faith in the court system. If he is guilty, and I hope he's not, because you would have to be a real jerk to hope that happened. But if he is guilty, the Raiders could have had one of the worst free agent offseason periods ever, losing what could essentially be the 3 of their biggest offseason acquisitions, and say this happened, that would leave them with Richie Incognito as being the one guy they held on to and didn't do something, to get suspended or whatever. Just thought that was interesting. Barstool posted an article getting angry because somebody titled ex-Patriot Trent Brown sued by ex-girlfriend or something like that.
I mean, given the fact that he was sued for it, it probably allegedly happened while he was a Patriot.
Probably.
I think that's fair. So they got that on top of, domestic violence. You got Antonio Brown and his allegations. And then, it's funny that all this happened after the owner committed sex crimes.
Oh, Robert Kraft?
Yeah, because the foundation of your organization is your owner.
Yeah.
And it all stems down from there. So,
very interesting.
Just wanted to – anyway, I think the Packers are going to win.
Yeah, I think the Packers are going to win as well.
Yeah.
Although – okay, so you wanted to talk about player trades today.
Yeah.
The only one I could think of was I think the Packers should try to trade for A.J. Green because it came out today that A.J. Green is going to be the next Jalen Ramsey in terms of being the guy who definitely wants out. I think Mike Freeman posted that on Twitter, but the Green Bay needs more receivers. Devontae Adams was hurt. I don't know if he'll be back for this game. I don't think he will. Geronimo Allison got hurt in that last matchup, and then we saw a lot of drop balls affect the Packers the way the refs affected the Lions. But that would be the one note I had. AJ Green to Green Bay.
Yeah, well,
it's in the fucking name, Will.
Right. Yeah. The AJ Green Bay Packers.
And Packers they used to – never mind. AJ Hawk, because I was going to make some stupid joke. Sorry. I wasted everybody's time there.
Yeah. How about they trade for Clay Aiken because Clay Matthews used to play one. The Raiders notoriously think the refs are out to get them. Clearly, by last Monday Night Football's, the view of that game, people think the NFL is trying to prop up the Packers. So I don't see any conflict here.
No, I hope the refs screw over the Raiders in this game, and I hope it's obvious.
Just they bring the tuck rule back,
just for one game.
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah. Rodgers just has the ball intercepted, and it's called a tuck rule.
The Raiders did sign Darren Waller to I think like a 3-year deal, and that's actually a Raiders story I like right now.
Yeah,
he's playing really well, but I'll be rooting for Darren Waller and nobody else. We both take the Packers there. So then we got Rams at Falcons. No surprise here. The Rams are favored by 3. And these are going to be the new look Rams, Will, because Talib on IR, like you mentioned, John Johnson, Marcus Peters is gone. So that's 3 people gone in the secondary, and Jalen Ramsey will replace all of their production now.
That's the idea. They're going to put their rookie safety, who I think they took in the second round or maybe the late first round. No, they never had a –
they haven't had a first round, and they won't have a first round until 20.
Anyway, Taylor Rapp, the safety out of Washington, is going to get his chance to start. He could be pretty good. He might end up being a little bit of an upgrade for them if he is what they think he is. You can't have Marcus Peters as your number 1 corner pretty much at any time. And with Talib out, that makes Peters even more of a liability because you're just going to target him all game long against the number 1 receiver. I think he would have been better given the fact that you might have Ramsey on the other side because he's a guy that can lock down one half of the field, the mythical shutdown corner.
Right.
I guess. And so that makes, you can live with Marcus Peters trying to jump routes on the other side when you got the other half of the field locked down. But interesting that they traded him for a 5th round pick and Kenny Young, who I don't know anything about. I don't think
He's supposed to be pretty good. He started to get more playing time with the Ravens and looks like he can be a decent linebacker. But yeah, we don't know a lot about Kenny Young.
But I want to know what you think about the Rams basically mortgaging their future for like the 5th year in a row to get Jalen Ramsey.
I think
by the way, they still have to sign.
Yeah, he's on his rookie deal still.
Yeah. So
he does not want to play through. The Jags 5th year optioned him, which I guess transfers over. I think they gave up way too much for a corner. 2 first-rounders is like –
for a team that's got issues elsewhere.
Yeah, and I guess they weren't going to have a first-rounder in 2020. No, they were. They had – this is what they traded, their 2020 and their 2021. So I feel like you could get a corner in the draft in the first round. But I think Jalen Ramsey is a big upgrade over Marcus Peters for Wade Phillips. Peters is going to play better in a zone. He likes to play zone, is what I have read.
So, it gives you more of an opportunity to jump balls, basically,
right.
Jump routes.
And I think Aqib Talib can come back after 8 weeks or whatever. So if the Rams are in the playoffs and then suddenly have Talib and Ramsey on the field,
pretty good duo.
That is a great duo. But then I believe Talib is in the last year of his deal. So I don't know what the Rams are going to do next year. Maybe Talib comes back because he likes being there, but maybe he goes to fucking New England, even though they actually have 3 really good corners right now. I just know those were the 2 places he wanted to play. But to answer your question, I wouldn't have given up 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey right now. Not when I feel like the Rams are going to have other issues they need to fill.
Yeah, the offensive line's falling apart. It looks like Andrew Whitworth is kind of – the wheels are falling off at left tackle for Whitworth.
He's finally become old.
Yes, after a long time, after a really, really good career, which I think you'd expect to happen at some point for an older player. But they really don't have a backup plan, and they don't have a way to restock at offensive line. So especially given the fact that Jared Goff seems to be struggling really, really badly at this point.
Yeah.
And the fact that his contract extension hasn't even kicked in yet. So not only is he the highest paid player in the NFL and maybe like in the middle of the pack at quarterback, and that's being generous this year probably, he's not even playing he's not outperforming or underperforming his contract yet. His contract hasn't even started. So he could get worse, and the Rams will be on the hook to pay him,
a lot of money.
What, $35 million a year at that point?
Yeah,
you could see a scenario where this franchise goes down the tank very quickly because they sold the farm to win a Super Bowl either last year or this year.
Yeah,
and at 3-3,
they're doubling down on that.
That they are doubling down. And with the Seahawks and the Rams both looking better than them at this point, with a 49ers. Really, really stacked NFC, they might not even make the playoffs. Yeah, and they don't have any sort of path to rebuild without first-round picks.
Yeah, they're gambling. They are gambling, and based on the fact that their stadium is $2.5 billion over budget, it does not surprise me that the Rams as an organization might not be making the most fiscally sound decisions. Although I like watching a team that is going to do exciting things, like give up a shit ton of things.
It is absolutely entertaining, and I'm glad we have the Rams.
Yeah, I'm gonna root for them to do well this season, but I fear you might be very accurate in how you just described.
Right. And we didn't even mention the fact that Todd Gurley, doesn't look like even half of what he was earlier last season.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him and his knee injury.
The second highest paid running back, I think.
Yeah, the only thing that can save the Rams is Jared Goff.
Right. Is Goff looking good again?
If he starts playing really good football again, then you make up for a lot of deficiencies and it's okay. But right now, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. So we are going to take the Rams to beat the Falcons.
Yeah, all that said, yeah, definitely the Rams. Definitely the Rams.
Man, I'm gonna say the Falcons get a win.
Oh wow, that would be.
Oh, we didn't get our pick total from our guy.
I think we did.
Oh, what did he tweet it?
Yeah.
Oh, find it for me.
Okay, I'll find it.
Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna take the Falcons. They're due a win.
Yeah, I guess so. If that's
You got Rams, I got Falcons. Then we have. Did you find
it? You just wanted a different pick than me.
No, I think I think the Falcons are gonna win.
Fair enough. Okay, we were both 8-6 last week.
I felt like I did really good.
I felt like I was the opposite. I'm 53, 38-1. By the way, I should just get rid of that tie. You're 49, 42-1.
Okay.
So I've got you by 4 games at this point. So you have plenty of time.
49ers at Washington, Redskin potatoes. San Francisco, 10-point favorites. We're both going to take the 49ers.
Any chance this is a letdown game for the 49ers after a huge win?
I don't think so. I think Washington is –
it's a West Coast team going east and playing the early slot.
Yeah. I'm taking – you want to take Washington?
Reds.
You want to take them?
Are feeling themselves after beating the Dolphins by a point.
Yeah. They scored 17 on the Dolphins. I don't think they're going to do good against a very talented 49ers defense.
Case Keenum getting hot. Terry McLaurin playing great football.
That's the only bright spot in Washington right now.
It feels like Dwayne Haskins is going to get Josh Rosen.
Could.
He's going to get the Rosen treatment while
that'd be crazy.
Washington drafts. I think last week proves that they're not going to get Tua, but they could get Justin Herbert easily.
Did Tua play bad last week?
They'll just draft him and ruin him.
Did Tua play bad last week?
No, I just mean the Redskins beat the Dolphins.
Oh. Yeah, okay. So you're saying Tua's definitely going to be the number one dude.
Tua's only played bad in one game.
Okay.
It was the national championship.
Got it. Okay. Only thing I wanted to really say from this game was Kyle Shanahan was asked about his time in Washington. Said the best part was working with my dad. And then a reporter asked, what was the worst part? And he said, everything else.
Respect.
So, I thought that was brutally honest and on par with our disdain for Dan Snyder and the reign of shit he brings upon that organization. Okay, then we got Texans at Colts. Colts 1.5-point favorites, so Vegas doesn't. Really good game. This is too close to call. This is a good game. Colts coming off a bye. T.Y. Hilton is not on the injury report. And for the Texans, DeAndre Hopkins hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1. T.Y. usually plays pretty good football against the Texans.
Absolutely does.
I feel like Hopkins has to go off at some point. Deshaun Watson outdueled Patrick Mahomes last week. Watson was playing pretty damn good football. But the Colts, man, they're like that team that does all the little things right, and they don't let losses affect them really, because they lost to the Raiders at home and then traveled to Kansas City and got the win. So they're very even, battle tested.
They've taken on the personality of their head coach Frank Reich, and they
never out of it. We're
never out of it. Never out of it.
I was hoping you weren't going to make a Nazi joke.
No, not that time. No, not that time. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm going to take the Colts.
Ooh.
Because 2 reasons. The bye week, and they're at home. And that's really all it comes down to for me.
All right. I'm going to take the Colts too. And the only reason I'm taking the Colts is because I want them to win.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like it. I like Indy's.
I don't dislike the Texans at all.
No, I really like Deshaun Watson a lot, but I'm rooting for the Colts because Andrew Luck left, and I like the story there if they keep winning.
By the way, you think the Colts could be in the market for a first-round quarterback next year? Someone who's like kind of in the middle of the pack, maybe someone like, I don't know, like Joe Burrow or someone. I know you don't know who that is, but
yeah, I think they might be. I don't know. I think
would you draft a quarterback if you were them? Because you've got this great team around you, and
right. I have to wait. I have to give Jacoby the full season evaluation.
True. That's true.
And he's played enough football there where you should kind of know. I feel like Jacoby is going to be like at best Joe Flacco at his best, where he's playing mistake-free football and is
still waiting for that Joe Flacco.
What's that?
I said I'm still waiting for that Joe Flacco.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about when Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl. So Joe Flacco's best season.
Oh, well, that's the best quarterback of all time, maybe.
Is like, I don't know, because Brissett can play good football, but he doesn't look like the kind of quarterback who's ever going to light up a scoreboard. You know what I mean?
Right. You don't see him going off for 5 touchdowns.
Right. He seems like a steady guy, like a real steady quarterback. So,
which might be the perfect thing for this team.
Yeah, like maybe you keep building defense, and
they've got such a good that offensive line.
Having a receiver outside of T.Y. Hilton could help in that department too.
Yeah, you could see them. Yeah, you could see them grabbing a wide. There's a lot of good wide receivers.
And Paris Campbell's been hurt. They're the rookie they did draft. So, but. Yeah, I would have to evaluate at the end of the season. But would you be tempted to take a guy who you think can?
Depends who's there. And you wouldn't have to start him. You wouldn't have to start him right away. Is the thing.
And now that we've said that, Jacoby Brissett's going to throw 5 touchdowns in this game.
Hey, good for him if he does. I'm not rooting against him by any means.
No. You'd have to be a dick.
So we're both taking the Colts.
Then we got Vikings
at the Lions. Do you think the Lions play a little angry this week?
I think so. The Lions are like I was going to compare them to the Colts. But because they're playing good, scrappy football, but the Lions are making some little mistakes still that are costing them.
Red zone offense, really hurting them.
Cousins is on fire. We should note 6 touchdowns, 1 pick in the last 2 weeks, and 138 QB rating.
He's like the rich man's version of Jameis and Marcus Mariota, because those guys, like right when you think they're done, put up a good game to get them back in the lineup.
Fair enough.
Obviously, Marcus Mariota couldn't put it together last week.
No,
so that's the reason he's on the bench. But with Jameis, you feel like right when he's at the end of his rope, he strings together a 4 touchdown game. Kirk Cousins is never that bad, but he always seems to know when to put together a really good game to give him some more, to give him a longer leash there. And he's done the last 2 weeks.
I think I'm going to take the Vikings because I feel like they can beat you multiple ways because they've won games when Kirk Cousins wasn't playing great. They have a really good running back and rushing attack. And if Kirk Cousins is playing well, they look like a top 5 team in the NFL. Yeah. So the Detroit Lions have some issues on offense. They're kind of like the Broncos. They move the ball well, and then they're not converting in the red zone. So for whatever reason, and I want to pick the Lions here, but I'm going with the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, we all wish goodwill upon the Lions at this point because their last 2 losses have been really, really heartbreaking, both on field goals at the last second.
Every one of their games.
The Chiefs scored a touchdown with like 15 seconds left.
Yeah, all of the Lions games have been very close this year, and starting with the first game going into overtime. So, like,
Right.
they're just going to have one of those seasons that it feels like they could have won. They're going to look back at the season and be like, we could have won 5 of those games that we lost.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope that's not the case with our team too.
No. Yeah.
I think we'll know tonight if that is.
You take Vikings or Lions?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings as well.
All right.
We'll speed this up a little bit. Jags
Bangies.
at Bengals. I think we both got to take the Jags here. Although, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Every week, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the week Cincinnati figures it out.
Yeah, so now Cincy and the Dolphins are the 2 defeated teams, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jacksonville. I think
I can't pick the Bengals at this point. You got to prove it to me.
their Gardner Minshew had a bad game last week. I don't think Cincinnati's defense is going to stifle him. So
Okay,
I look for him to bounce back.
Speaking of these trade scenarios, and let's assume that Jacksonville is sold on Gardner Minshew, which I don't think they should be at this point. But where would you send, hypothetically, Nick Foles in a trade to upgrade a team immediately?
Right here, Denver, Colorado.
I've heard that brought up. I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
Where would I send Nick Foles?
Yeah. If you want to put a team over the edge to make the playoffs.
Well,
is there anywhere that makes sense? I've got an answer for you.
Who? Where? Tell me.
Up north, Chicago Bears.
Oh.
The team he beat in the playoffs last year.
I like that. I like that a lot.
That becomes a much better team.
I do too. That's actually perfect. There's a great defense there.
Yep.
Yeah. Duh. Will the GM.
I've done it again.
So we'll both take the Jags. Nick Foles is on his way to Chicago. Then we've got Cardinals, Giants. Interesting game, kind of.
Yeah, 2 rookie quarterbacks.
2 rookies, Barkley and Ingram, both coming back for the Giants. Should be very helpful to one Daniel Jones. Jones kind of going in the opposite direction of Kyler Murray, where he started hot and is now.
Okay, let's qualify that by saying he played with literally like you and me out there at receiver.
No, I know. I'm not saying
against the best
it's
defense in the NFL on the road last week.
Yeah,
on a short week. So I'm gonna throw that game out when evaluating Daniel Jones.
No, I don't think he's bad. I'm just saying Murray's playing better every week than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he is.
For whatever, you can blame it on whatever you want. Hasn't been. But getting one of the best running backs in the league back in your lineup, huge help. Getting your best receiving threat this season in Evan Ingram should help. And I think this is going to be a good game because neither defense is great. And so maybe we can have a good old-fashioned quarterback shootout.
Yeah.
So I'll pick the Cardinals.
I'm gonna take the Giants.
Okay.
I still believe in Daniel Jones. I think Cardinals have played 2 really bad teams the last week, and I don't hold that against them because they shouldn't be winning too much this year. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to the Giants with Barkley and Ingram back. I think that's
we'll see.
I think that's huge.
Golden Tate
getting up to speed.
It could confirm that those 2 were definitely the first 2 quarterbacks who should have been drafted.
It could. Not that we've seen, Well, I mean, once Drew Lock gets into the lineup, we'll know.
And Dwayne Haskins. But
I don't think that's ever going to happen. Yeah.
All right, we got Dolphins, Bills. Buffalo's favored by 17 points.
Yeah.
Which surprised me a little bit.
I don't trust the Bills on offense enough
to
cover 17 points is the thing.
No. And I love the Bills, and I think their defense is legit very good, but that offense, I mean, Josh Allen scares me as a quarterback.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you're going to Las Vegas or to Reno or to Atlantic City or really anywhere, because gambling on sports is legal now, I would take the Dolphins against the spread.
Yeah, I'll take them against the spread.
Please don't
Pick them to
blame
win.
me if that's not the case. Yeah.
But we'll both take Buffalo there. Dolphins
Kenyon
are
Drake.
also
They're fielding Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, they're trying to trade Kenyon Drake.
Where would you send him?
Who needs a running back?
Here's what makes sense, though, for this team. The Buffalo Bills. It's not going to happen because it's a division rival. There's, I think, two places where it makes sense. The Bills and the Patriots. I don't think either happens because they're both AFC East teams.
Yeah.
But that makes the most sense to me for teams that are –
Yeah, Patriots could use offensive skill position help and offensive line help. So
I've got another option for the Bills, though. I've got two, actually.
Okay, tell me.
I think would work. That would happen, I think, is – although they're on pretty large contracts, Devontae Freeman from the Falcons or Melvin Gordon from the Chargers.
Oh, interesting.
I think that could be just what this offense needs.
Kenyon Drake would fit in well with the Chargers, I think.
I'm not saying send Kenyon Drake to the Chargers. I'm saying send Melvin Gordon to the Bills.
Oh, okay.
And send Devontae Freeman to the Bills. Not both.
Oh, okay. I get you.
Yeah.
All right, we got Chargers, Titans. Russell Okung finally returns from very serious medical condition issue. I forget what it was, but he could have died.
I think blood clots or something like that.
Something crazy. But it's good that he's back on the field. Travis Benjamin moves to IR. Tennessee 1.5-point favorites. And the Chargers and Titans both.
God, this is just
this is a bad – both these teams are playing bad.
The shit bowl of the week.
Neither team should be playing as bad as they are.
Yeah.
But, oh, man. I'm going to go with the Titans just because they changed it up at quarterback. Ryan Tannehill looked better than Mariota for the most part, although
he moved the ball better. He was more decisive.
He moved the ball better, but he took more sacks in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah.
So, and the Chargers just don't look good. I mean, the Steelers worked them.
Tannehill's not playing the Broncos defense this week, which is a huge help.
Yeah. So I'll go with Tennessee just based on that.
I'm actually going to take the Chargers here. I think the Okung thing
makes a big deal.
Is really big if he plays.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll play or not. I know he's just back practicing, but
if he does, then yes. I also think Philip Rivers will
bounce back.
Play well enough. He typically doesn't have 3 bad games in a row.
No.
Although if he did, we'd never hear about it.
Ravens, Seahawks.
Ravens, Seahawks. This is a good game. A couple angles. You got 2 good rushing quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is the favorite to win NFL MVP, according to Vegas. He's ahead of
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, who for some reason is being thought of as an MVP this year. I think Mahomes is behind. I think he's behind Wilson, Watson, and McCaffrey this year. He should be, at least.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the Seahawks. I don't think the Ravens have beat anybody good or convincing at this point. So I think
this is a good game because both defenses uncharacteristically haven't been playing great football this season. So they're both led by dynamic play from their quarterbacks. But if I had to bet on a quarterback, I'm going to bet on Russell Wilson, especially at home. And
you've got the return of Earl Thomas to Seattle.
Yeah, you got Earl Thomas. They're going to throw Marcus Peters into the mix with Baltimore. Should be interesting, but I like Seattle.
I do too. Okay. New Orleans at Chicago. Do you think at some point before Breeze comes back, they have a letdown game? Bridgewater struggles. this feels like it could be the game against Chicago's defense.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened at this point.
You picked them to lose last week. And I said, no, it's going to happen this next week against Chicago.
So you're taking the Bears.
I was going to take the Bears until Akeem Hicks got hurt. I think that's
what's going to keep you from
picking the Bears. I think that's a big blow to the Bears' defensive line.
Okay.
So I don't care if Trubisky comes back because he may play. I'm going to take the Saints again.
All right,
although Alvin Kamara has been hurt.
Rethinking that pick now? Too late. I'm taking the Bears.
I'll ride with the Saints. Okay, regardless of Kamara's knee injury.
Yeah, thank God you had some integrity finally.
Eagles, Cowboys, Dallas on a 3-game losing streak.
Yep.
2.5-point favorites. The Eagles just got worked over by Minnesota. This stat I found interesting. Okay, Dallas defense only 2 picks this season. The offense has started 0 drives inside their opponent's 50. So, and that's on 60 drives this season.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're not
I haven't heard a thing about Leighton Vander Esch this season.
Yeah, he was. Their linebackers were so dynamic last year. The defense looked to be a unit on the rise.
Didn't he win Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Vander Esch?
Yeah.
No.
It was Darius Leonard.
Yeah, Leonard won.
Yeah. Okay.
The Colts.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm sure Leighton Vander Esch would prove to be a better pick in the long run than Bradley Chubb. But oh well. That's, yeah.
Then Chubb?
That's me being ironic, yeah. I don't think it's going to – I don't think that would be a good pick looking back at it. I don't think it would age well is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
Okay. Doug Peterson guaranteed victory on the radio. He said he guarantees that the Eagles are going to win, and then when he was asked about it again, he said, not what I meant. Didn't say it. I think he did mean that. I think he did say it. He should have stuck with his guns. Do what Jimmy Johnson used to do for the Cowboys back in the 90s and taking all of the onus on himself, takes the pressure off of his players, gives the players a little motivation to win for their coach. So he played this one poorly, I think.
Yeah.
But I think the Eagles get it done.
Take the Eagles?
I think the Cowboys are in a bad spot. I think people are coming for Jason Garrett's job. Dak is probably demoralized knowing that he loses about $10 million with each passing week. I think the Eagles will figure it out on defense. They could use a trade at corner. Everybody wants them to pick up – well, at first they wanted Jalen Ramsey. Didn't get that. So, Eagles fans were – throwing themselves off of whatever bridge they have in Philadelphia. Now they want Chris Harris, which personally they want Chris Harris, yeah. Personally speaking, you can pry Chris Harris from my cold, dead hands.
Yeah.
So get the fuck out of there with that.
You can get him after this season when he doesn't re-sign with the Broncos.
Then and only then. Yeah, I don't want your insulting offers. Oh, how about a 7th-rounder, conditional 7th-rounder for Chris Harris?
Here's a good question. You think Chris Harris comes back if the defense keeps playing as well as it has?
I think it's possible for like 1 or 2 years.
I think it was impossible, but I feel like that sort of attitude is shifting.
Yeah, and I think he got some good – I think his raise basically this year earned the team some goodwill with him.
I hope he comes back.
I really do so.
The Eagles cut.
They cut him.
Yeah, they cut Zach Brown after he talked shit about Kirk Cousins and then just got smoked by Kirk Cousins. Yeah. So Philly does have issues in the secondary. What's Amari Cooper's status?
I don't know if he's playing. We should probably look that up.
Yeah. Because that's obviously big.
That's a big deal, especially against a depleted – he's preparing to play against the Eagles. He's hoping to practice.
I think if the Cowboys win, it's because they exploit a bad Eagles secondary. And Dallas has the weapons to do it. But I'm going to pick the Eagles too. I think they're just a better team.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm taking the Eagles as well. This is the Sunday night game. NFC East on Sunday night. It's the Cowboys.
There you go. You got it.
Second time this year, because the first time the Cowboys were on Sunday Night Football was such a good, entertaining game where they scored like 6 points. So they said that was so much fun. We have to do it again.
There we go.
So sure, why not? Yeah, put them on prime time for the world to see, because it's what America's been clamoring for. It's more of the fucking Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, Will, we get it. You got to move on. Take the Eagles.
Here's a better game. Here's a better game on Monday Night Football. The Patriots versus the Jets.
Is it too early to call this the Demaryius Thomas revenge game?
No, and I think he takes his revenge.
That's right.
And the Jets win. Damn it.
DT was pissed that the Jets traded him after re-signing him, said the Patriots wasted his time. Yeah, sorry, the Patriots traded him. So the Patriots wasted his time. Bill Belichick said, I felt like I was always very truthful with him, but things changed, and therefore what I said was not the same as what it was, what I had said previously.
Right, that's a long way of saying I lied. But luckily, because I would feel pissed off too, because they cut him for Antonio Brown.
Yeah, they cut him for the biggest shithole in the league.
Exactly.
Wasn't like they cut him for nice guy Antonio Brown. They cut him for
such a thing does not exist.
Big dirtbag guy, man child. They cut him for a man child.
Yeah, they didn't cut him for like a good person like DeAndre Hopkins or Julio Jones or AJ Green or somebody. No, they cut him for Antonio Brown.
And that experiment lasted less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I'm sure they would like to have Demaryius Thomas back.
Yeah, that's what's great, because rarely do those things not work out in the Patriots' favor. The Jets get a win, a big win against those Cowboys we just mentioned. Sam Darnold looked pretty good. But are they good enough to compete with the Patriots in primetime football? I think they get C.J. Mosley back, too.
I'm taking the Jets.
Ooh!
I don't care.
I'll take the Jets with you.
I'm taking the Jets. I think Sam Darnold has another good game coming back from mono. We know that
Patriots are 10-point favorites, by the way.
We know that Tom Brady is someone that could potentially catch mono with the way he kisses his son. And his son is right in that age.
Tom Brady gets mono from son.
From son, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, look.
It's probably going to happen at this point.
The Patriots are probably going to win this game. But 2 weeks ago, the Jets didn't stand a fucking chance in this game.
No, because we saw what happened the first time, and it was a bloodbath.
Now,
I like it. I like
Sam
the chances
Darnold back. They look like not a good team, but they look at least like they can compete, that they can score points.
Yep,
even though the Patriots defense is really good. But
I think they might get I'm not sure if they get Chris Herndon back this week too.
Oh.
Because he was suspended and then he came back to practice and then he got injured.
So we're gonna go with the upset. We're gonna take the Jets.
So here's the thing: you can cut me off, whatever, but would it not have been smart for the Jets to order Sam Darnold? I'm not gonna say make him kiss Tom Brady's son, but at least like share a drink with him to indirectly give Tom Brady mononucleosis.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's takes some serious planning.
I don't know how they get it to work, but it could be done if they were forward thinkers like me.
I support that creativity, Will.
Yeah, I never said kiss his son.
Yeah, I know, because
I said sure.
Then I would have to report
I would never.
Then I would have to report you.
That's fair.
All right, thanks for listening to That's Good Sports Podcast. We love you.